Now let's talk about Typeform for a moment. I really like Typeform. Typeform was one of the tools I used really early on in putting together my app hack. So I want to jump into a software review of Typeform for you so you can evaluate whether or not you want to use it for your own project. So Typeform allows you to create forms and surveys for anything, really. And you can get really creative with this. But one of the reasons that Typeform is so awesome is because the interface for the forms and surveys looks so nice. It looks great on mobile. It looks like you designed something special and unique, right? It's so good, the design. And you don't have to put a lot of work into getting something that looks really beautiful. It comes with a lot of great templates. So I want to show you how it works. How does Typeform actually work? I'll walk you through that. So it's a really powerful option for collecting data in any way, shape, or form for your app hack. That can be for lead generation, so you want to do marketing and get new signups on your homepage. It could be for having a sign-up form and getting questions in your sign-up form. It could be for registration forms, surveys, polls, and questionnaires, orders and payment forms, but also you can get creative and do things other than this, right? I'll show you some creative ways that I originally used Typeform in my app hack in a moment. But this is sort of the general structure of how it works. So let me actually show you Typeform. So this is the inside of my Typeform dashboard. It's got all of these different little tiles in here for different forms. These are all type forms, right? And the editor, if I just click create a new form, and I'll start from scratch, although you can do one from a template. They've got a lot of really great templates, as I mentioned. I'm just going to show you a really basic type form and start from scratch. So here it is, and it's opening up for me. It's getting everything set up inside of Typeform. But the way that it looks is it's a drag and drop editor. First thing you do is you have a couple different, you could do a welcome screen, so the first view someone sees is a nicely designed screen. Then you have a bunch of different types of questions and data inputs that you can choose from, right? So you can do a 5-scale rating or a 1 through 10 opinion scale, or have someone put in a number answer, or choose between pictures. There's all sorts of different things, and all you do, for example, is, let's say we want someone's email. We'll grab email and just drag it over here. And then the editor for the email will pop up, and in the text for the question, we just get to choose what we want to say. So what's your email? ? And let's make that required. And all I have to do is hit save. And now there's a space for someone to type in their email. And I might also want to choose a payment option and have someone be able to pay at the end of it. Or maybe put in a multiple choice. Let's put in a multiple choice next. And they choose one. And I get to choose, option 1. You just see to set whatever these are. Option 2, option 3, right? For example. So I just wanted to show you high level how you drag things over and then start to change some of the settings for the way you're going to collect data. Now, I want to show you some of the ways that I originally used Typeform for my app hack. So first of all, I used Typeform for my initial sign-up form. So when people came to my website, they signed up through Typeform. This is actually what one of the first versions of my sign-up form looked like. I asked people if they've ever bought art before. I didn't even need to know this, but it allowed me to ask them an easy question to get them to lower their guard. I asked them what kind of mediums they're interested in, photography or painting or drawing, whatever it might be. And then I asked people how do they feel about specific images to sort of collect some information about their taste. And I showed pictures and had them say, whether or not this was too abstract or whether or not this was too boring. So people got to respond to examples. I asked people what their budget was and how big they wanted their artwork, all sorts of things here. And so this was my sign-up form. But also, I used Typeform in some trickier ways. So I also was giving people their personalized art recommendations for Collecto through Typeform. So I made these pages that look like Emily is my chief art advisor for Collecto. And so I created these pages for her with the art recommendation. So it looks like your personal art advisor sent you this personal message and says, hey, I found a few pieces you'll like, check them out. And then when you click on the image, you can see the piece of artwork and get a curation about what the piece is about, how much it costs, and then you can rate it, right? So all of this was going on, and I actually used this to be my product. And people are like, oh, I love that product that you built. It looks really cool. And really, I was just using a Typeform in a cool way, right? And just putting the person's artwork recommendations in there based on their taste and all that stuff. Manually, I was sort of puppeting it at the time. But this was a really good way of getting started and having a nice interface for people to input data and send me back their thoughts, right? So that is what Typeform looks like. Now, as I mentioned, Typeform is a really good way for collecting your data for your app hack or for your sign-up form or anything like that. So let's run through the scores that Typeform gets. When it comes to price, I give Typeform a B, right? You get unlimited questions and responses with the Pro plan, but you do need to be on that Pro plan in order for that to work. You can sign up for a free plan, so you can do like a free trial and free setup. But once you want to start sending out a public version of your Typeform page, you do need to upgrade and pay. There are all sorts of payment integrations. I believe you can do Stripe and maybe PayPal, but you're able to process payments through it. And what hurts it is that you have to be on some sort of pro plan, and there's not a lot of priority support. So if you get stuck and you need them to answer a question, you have to be on one of those higher plans to get really quick answers. Otherwise, you have to wait a little while for some support. So let's take a look at the pricing model. Actually, I take that back. There is a free plan that you can do, but you have some limitations. So I said earlier that there was not a free plan. There is a free plan. So you get a limited number of responses that you can collect every month with the free plan. You get basic question types, so you can't, for example, do the advanced question types like getting payments. So you're limited on which question types you can do. You can send data to a bunch of different apps through Zapier, so you can connect this to Zapier and do all sorts of other things. Then you move up to the Pro plan, and there's some additional features. But you'll be just fine getting started on this free plan. So what also helps when it comes to ease of use, for ease of use, I give it an A- for Typeform. So you can get started really quickly. I showed you what the interface looks like. You can sort of drag and drop. It's pretty easy to get going. And it integrates with a ton of other apps, right? Really good for integrating with other apps. And you can put in place some simple logic-based rules. If someone answers a first question, then take them to the third question. Or if someone answers with a certain answer to the second question, then automatically take them to the end, right? You can do some different logic. There's some cool features in there. Now, I also want to talk to you about bells and whistles, like all the different features. I give Typeform an A when it comes to bells and whistles. There's specifically some cool features you can do. For example, you can do something called hidden fields. And what this allows you to do is to, let's say that you've already collected someone's email address. You've already collected certain data about them. You can take that data and pass it along in the URL. So it would look like www.terra.com, and then you would put some parameters on the URL that are going to pass that data into your Typeform. So it might be email equals, and then put my email, and favorite art type equals photography. So that way you don't have to ask that person again what they like. You're just sending that data over. It's a nice way to smoothly connect your different tools together. That's hidden fields. Payment integration is another really awesome one. You can charge people, and then again, you can connect your Typeform to a ton of different apps via Zapier. So really great bells and whistles when it comes to that. So I want to talk to you about competitors for a second, some other options you can consider. Survey Gizmo is a good one, and also Survey Monkey. You can do some other sophisticated things. I'd say that the upside that Typeform has is the design. Compared to these other competitors, the design looks really nice, and it's really easy to put together a great design in Typeform. Some of these other tools are a little bit more sophisticated, though, and they have a little bit more bells and whistles when it comes to it. So overall, I give it an A-. It's a really good tool for you to check out and use for your app hack or for your marketing strategies or for your startup in general. Cool.